Testing, testing, testing. See, it's going through the roof here, and it's on the masters because that is over there. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to have audio on the master side when that is not a screenshot that has audio. Did you understand what I just said? Did that throw you off? Huh? You are
the key is that we are starting the conversation. We also have to figure out how to make it easier for kids to report problems when they see something that's right and say it and it goes to the proper person.
Does it bother you that I stand right here?
No.
I wouldn't be standing right here if I didn't have to come over.
All right, you can go for that now.
Folks, hot deals. That's how we're starting the show. Hot deals. Hot deals. It's Circuit World. Do I have volume? Are you sure? Yeah. I've already had to fix it 3 times. What would you do without me? What would you do without me?
If you drop the soundboard on the concrete ground outside, you might not ever have to worry about having sound.
Sam tells everything. I'm your host, BKP, and we are live this morning, Friday morning, Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. We got JR over here waiting to take your order, deliver your order. Oh, yes, we're doing the kitchen table. We just decided this morning we're going to go with the kitchen table. This is going to be great because the All-Star panel, we're going to get around the kitchen table. I think it's going to look great. We're going with this. Dr. Whaley will be right here in 15 minutes. No, I am at Circuit World, and we've got these hot deals. This kitchen table is $5.99, $4.99 a month, $12.99 a week. And if you come in, go to the counter, tell JR, say, get serious about this kitchen table. Get serious so I can buy it today. At 8:15, did I already say this? I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from Circuit World Blue Ridge. Let's see what else. At 8:15, we have Ask the Doc with Dr. William Whaley. He will be here. We ask him several questions. He will be here at 8:15. At 8:45, we're going to be talking about fire and ice for about 5 or 6 minutes. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you will, because fire and ice chili cook-off. Come on. Who doesn't want some chili in February? It's a rain or shine event in downtown Blue Ridge. Fire and ice. We're going to have somebody with us at 8:45 to tell you all about that chili cook-off. That's something you don't want to miss. Thousands attend, and it's worth it. So we're going to do that at 8:45. Then at about 8:55, we're going to have the All-Star panel, all right? And we're going to have Bruce is on vacation, so Rick and Jane will be here, and we're going to talk about the week in review. And that's basically what we do on the All-Star panel every week is we take the biggest news stories and we kindly review them and what's going on, whether it be news, politics, current affairs of any kind that's happening. We do that on the All-Star panel, and that'll be at 8:55. Then at 9:30, about 9:30, 9:35, we're going to have Team FYN Sports weekend review with the director of Team FYN Sports, Jason Banks. And we're going to tell you now, we have bad news. There'll be no pet of the week, okay? They have had something come up, a medical emergency this morning that they're not able to bring by our star of the show. We could at least get a text of a picture of a pooch, or something. How can we let this audience go through? But we will still talk about the Humane Society of Blue Ridge before we end the show today. All right, where do we start? I say that all too often. And this morning, and I want to ask, and this is going to be such a question from here to here, that the All-Star panel is going to say, well, where do we start, and do we only have 45 minutes? But it's like, what's wrong, America? What's wrong? And this is something that I want to bring up because at my age, okay, even in my youth here, at my age, so many discussions this week of how it used to be and how we did not worry about this. We live in North Georgia, where at one time, we'll just go back to the 80s. We won't go back to the Ice Age in the 70s, but we'll just go back to the 80s. You could go the local high school where I'm sitting today, Fannin County, Georgia. Gilmer County, Pickens County, Union County, north of us. But right here where we're sitting in Blue Ridge, Fannin County, Georgia, you could go over to the student parking lot, and yes, you will find multiple pickup trucks, which is fine. But what you would find in the back window is a gun rack. And you actually see a gun hanging there in the gun rack. And I'm going to say girls, right? There was nothing for the guys or girls to take their gun rack, put it in the parking lot, go into school. Never crossed anybody's mind what to do with a gun. Never crossed anybody's mind to do anything. So what changed? What changed in our children?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been there. I haven't been to school in several years, right? You can tell that. I've been out of school for a while. But what I'm saying is, you know, we used to get off the bus, go through a door, have multiple teachers, have 6 periods or 7 periods of class, 55 minutes, 45 minutes. We used to have a lunch period. We used to have, a homeroom, whatever, study hall. I mean, I understand technology has changed the way we present information, you know, that we're teaching our children. What has really changed? What has really changed? JR, put your hand down. JR wants to tell. He's got his hand up over here, and I'm not going to let him tell you. But what's really changed in this country? Why do we talk about kids, so many kids in mental illness? I mean, Nicholas Cruz, 19, he was went between, he's the one that murdered 17 kids, all right? 17 kids in a Florida school. We know so much about this young man now that he has been in and out, I guess, of mental institutions or facilities. What has changed? This 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz stood before a magistrate yesterday, 17 counts of murder. What's happening? The mental illness, what's going on? Social media. You know, I'm the last generation, okay, and I've told somebody this several times. I happen to be in the last generation that we wondered whatever happened to anybody, okay? So we got out of high school, and this kid got accepted into this college, and this kid got accepted into this college, and they went off here and there, and this kid went to work in the coal mines, this kid went to work at the gas station, this kid had an uncle out in Ohio, whatever. Next thing you know, the high school class all dispersed, right? We dispersed. We're all over the country, different places, all right? We didn't really know what happened to each other. You get a letter in 10 years saying it's a 10-year high school reunion if they can find you. You get a letter in 15, you get a letter in 20. We're the last generation that wondered what happened to some people. And then Facebook come along. And for my generation, Facebook was exciting at some points. Because, you know, all of a sudden you find that person you hung out with in high school. And those 4 kids that, you know, you hung out with, you're like, oh, they're here, and look at their kids. So for my generation, it was a reconnection, okay? And I always love to tell a story. There's a friend of mine I used to hang out with. I won't say party. We don't use that in language in this show. There's a friend of mine I used to hang out with all through high school, right? I hadn't talked to the guy in 20-some years or whatever. We get Facebook. He finds me on Facebook within 2 weeks. I sent him a message, said, there's a reason I haven't been looking for you for 20 years, all right? So, you know what I mean, you know? So that was bad, right? Was that mean? Yeah, that was mean. Anyhow, what happened to our kids? Social media, they are connected. 8, 9, 10 years old. Snapchat, Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter, Facebook. They are connected at all times. But the question that I get in trouble is, where's mom and dad? Why are we not allowed to talk about mom and dad? Why is that like bad? Where's mom and dad in all of this? What are your rules on social media? You're going to tell me, hey, you're saying social media is the reason this kid walked into school? No, I'm not saying that. What's happening to our kids? I mean, this kid went on YouTube and he said, hey, I plan to be a professional school shooter, and the FBI knew about it. I just really think, you know, we look for all of these reasons why, and we're going to study. I told you this yesterday. You know, my question is we have the teacher or the security officer, and I think he's a security officer, assistant football coach. Aaron, how did you say his last name? Feist, okay? Aaron Feist, security officer, assistant football coach. Threw his body, I try to do this without tears, threw his body in front of bullets to save kids. All over the TV, he's a hero. My question is, Why do we have to have these heroes? Why are we having these things happen that we have somebody that's a hero? Why does this security guard not have a gun? Why is his defense of these children his body and he's dead today? When, you know, you go in the house, I knew I was going to get wound up, and you got this crazy woman. I swear to God, this woman's crazy. Nancy Pelosi is crazy. I mean, I can't believe that one commentator could say the word mental illness and then run a clip of Nancy Pelosi in the same minute and not say example. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know who's upset out there, but Nancy Pelosi is crazy as all get out. And you've got these people on the floor saying that it's the fault of the Republicans, or it's the fault of the NRA. It's because we don't have the discussion. We're not having the discussion. We're not doing the things necessary in Congress to protect our children. It's the discussions we're not having. You know, my dad had, and this is probably where, you know, if I was on regular TV, I'd get thrown off the air. But I'm on the internet, and I own the place, so I'm not going to fire myself. Here's the point. You know, my dad had a whole string of belts that hung up, okay? And let me tell you something. There was 5 of us kids in the house, and we knew which belt was the whooping belt. Now, if that made you laugh at me, now you want to say whipping, but now my family was from the South, and you got whooping, all right? And we knew which belt hung there that was the whooping belt. And we knew when Dad got home from work, if he went in that room and we could hear belt buckles rattle, we know Mom had called him throughout the day and told something we was hoping Mom did not say. But we knew she said something. And we heard those belt buckles rattle. And if that whooping belt came out in the living room and he called all 5 of us to stand in front of him, and he started interrogating us on who did what, I know. For some of you, I'm making no sense at all. But for me, I just think, you know what? A security guard with no gun. We're going to talk about mental illness. Joy Behar on The View said this week that our Vice President of the United States, when he said that he heard God talk to him, Joy Behar on The View called it mental illness. Now she's backed up and said, well, she's a Christian because, you know, she gives money to the church. DACA. I'm going to be running along here. I want to make sure I give Dr. Whaley, he has a lot of pictures today for the questions that we have for Dr. Whaley, so I want to give him plenty of time, and I want to make sure I give the all-star panel enough time to discuss this. But I guess my question is, why do we not have armed teachers? Does that upset? How many people does that upset? Why not? Why do we have security guards that are not armed in some of these schools? Why? But the big question is mental illness. All right? What's wrong with our kids? What's wrong with our kids? You know, maybe tell them to turn off the Xbox and go outside and play. Now, let me tell you this, all right? This is like the 5th time I'm in trouble. But if your kids, Lord, you know, Mama said never talk about people's kids because that's when. But if your kids, if you do not have, what is it, the Bactine spray for, you know, like if a kid gets scraped. Now, when we were kids, we had that old Mercurochrome. Is that what's called, Dr. Whaley? We had you had a bottle of Mercurochrome in the medicine cabinet, all right, and you had Mercurochrome, and when we were kids, and we had you got that Bactine spray and stuff like that, and you got peroxide in there, and it ain't just turn your hair blonde, okay? So we had all those things in the medicine cabinet. Let me tell you something. If you're 10 years old today, and your mom's never said to you, this is going to sting, then you need to turn that Xbox off, get your ass off the couch, and go outside and get your knee scraped or something till you have to have something put on that says this is going to sting. I know I'm all over the place, but I want to know what the heck's going on. Because my generation, we're talking every day about, hey, we used to not do that kind of stuff. Anyhow, Boy, I better go to break. How much trouble you think I'm in, Sam? Take a vote. From 1 to 10. 10 being the most trouble.
Probably an 8, but you're right on point. This time, I'll give it to you.
Sam gave it to me. I'm going to take it when I got it. Dr. Whaley, right after this message, Dr. Whaley asked the doc. JR is over here waiting to make deals. We're at the kitchen table this morning. I'm really enjoying this. Take us to break.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Medium Pizza Hut pizzas, just $5.99 each.
Did they say Pizza Hut?
For $5.99?
Yes, and yes.
Yes! Introducing the deal you want on the pizza you crave. 2 medium pizzas, just $5.99 each. No one out pizzas the hot.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
Had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love, because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP, and we're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, and I'm here with Dr. Whaley. It's time for Ask the Doc. I've been handed some breaking news during the commercials. First time ever at Circuit World. Fox News Alert. Breaking news.
That's your news alert.
FYN breaking news. First time ever at Circuit World. 6 months, same as cash, and $10 down till the end of February. JR, is that everything?
Everything.
So if I walk in the store, I got $10?
Put it down.
So they find $10?
On that TV right there?
On that TV?
$10. $10 down.
Same as cash. 6 months.
Yep.
Okay, folks. I'll talk to you during the next commercial. There's 2 TVs I got my eye on. Sam's got her eye on something. Dr. Whaley, let's get to our thank you to Georgia Cancer Specialist for this segment every week. Dr. Whaley, how are you?
I'm great.
How would you like to open up this morning, sir?
Well, Sam knows that I'm a real patron of the arts, that I like to go to museums and see arts. That's a joke, of course.
Okay.
I like Remington's Western art, a few things like that. I have been made aware of this official portrait of ex-President Obama.
Why did I think you were going to bring this up?
Well, I just was so offended by it and the Communist News Network and my own daughter in New York talking about how Mr. Trump is a racist and so forth, and the artist who did that portrait of our president sitting among the daisies or whatever has that picture of the Amazon woman with the head cut off, and has several of those. And a man's known by his work.
Right.
And Remington, you knew if you asked Remington to paint you a picture, it's going to have something to do with horses and Indians and cowboys.
Exactly.
And there's a very nice picture outside my office that was done by a famous artist in West Virginia without my knowledge, where I look like Daniel Boone. But she was famous for doing Daniel Boone. So I don't know how you could choose somebody with that type of a background to make a picture to hang in the White House. When you look at all of those pictures going back, and every one of them, I mean, Clinton and I mean,
all Reagan, all of them.
No, Reagan. I admire Reagan, but I mean, you got Clinton. He looks good. He looks.
Right.
He looks distinguished.
I know where you're going.
Okay,
I know.
He looks distinguished. And people that you wouldn't particularly care for, they rose up and have really nice pictures.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, because I think you're hitting exactly the way I looked at it this week. Because somebody brings me something and they give it to me, and I'll say to myself, What were you going for? What were you? I mean, what was the intent here? What are you going for? I don't know what he was going for in this picture, because all of our presidents, our former presidents, their official portraits had a view of like strength.
Yes.
Solid.
Right.
I was president of the United States.
Yeah, and they're dignified.
You know what I'm saying? The whole list. And then when you see that portrait, you're thinking, what were you going for?
Go back to what did Winston Churchill do with the picture that was made of him by the Parliament in the last few months of his...
Exactly.
They made him look old. They hung it. He accepted it. He took it home, and then a few months later, he burned it in the yard. It never hung anywhere. He burned it, and that's he was not willing to accept a picture that would last for all of recorded history of him as anything other than our finest hour in a.
I couldn't.
Anyway,
I could not. I couldn't.
That's got nothing to do with eczema on the hands.
No, but I'm with you. What were you going for? What were you going for? Sitting in a field full of daisies, and I'll bring that up with the All-Star panel. In fact, I have my joke lined up for that one, and I don't want to give my joke away now. I have to save that one for Jane. Ask the doc. First of all, before we get into our questions, if you ever have a question for the doc, you send it to info at FetcherNews.com. Put in the subject area, ask the doc, and we will get those over to Dr. Whaley. Hopefully, and also get your question answered on the show.
I want to ask the editorial board about that screens the questions. I actually got a question myself Tuesday that I elected not to bring up, and it was asked, as serious as a train wreck, asked me to discuss the various colors and characteristics of bowel movements. And I figured that was probably just a little bit long for this, and that we'd rather discuss hand eczema. So the editorial board will filter through the questions, but I will answer any question that doesn't make it to the program. I answered that question off the air.
We'll do that one as a special.
I did
special
that one.
edition.
I've already answered it off the air. Go ahead.
Probiotic health. Okay, let's bring this back to eczema. Okay, let's stop talking. All right.
First picture, the good one.
I have started having dry patches on my hands. Is it common to have eczema if I'm over 30 and have never had it before? Does the skin change and you start having over 30?
You know, sometimes these questions that seem so simple open up this huge onion you can peel many, many layers off. I'm going to read you a really question. First of all, eczema and atopic dermatitis are exactly the same thing. It's an interchangeable word. So when people think eczema, I think they think a more severe case of it. We're going to show another picture in a minute. But atopic dermatitis, I'm reading the official definition, is a chronic pruritic, that means itchy, inflammatory skin disease that occurs most frequently in children but also affects adults. Well, interestingly enough, 30 to 89, that's a wide range of age, and we asked about age 30 there.
Yes.
15% of people in that age group have atopic hand dermatitis or somewhere on the body, and that is eczema. So yes, it's common over age 30 and can occur it did not occur in childhood. And that first picture that you're looking there is actually kind of hard, even when you're looking at that picture full screen, to see much on it. And what's actually on that is little dry patches on the back of your hand. You would scratch that little patch. You'd think, I wonder if I got some bleach on it or something, and you'd leave that alone. And if it didn't bother you too bad, you're putting, hand lotion on it, and it's taking care of itself. You don't need to do anything else. But now show that second picture. That second picture is a child, although this can occur in adults, whose hand looked like hand number 1, but got infected with the fever blister virus because the barrier of the first hand is not as efficient against infection and against irritation as the normal skin barrier. So what this eczema or atopic dermatitis boils down to is, for a variety of reasons, and some of them are genetic and actually change the way the skin works or change the natural lubrication on the surface of the skin, the barrier that it has to infection goes down, and it makes you more likely to get in trouble. And that fever blister right there on that kid's hand probably would have been just one normal little thing on you or on I if you don't have it and you didn't answer the question. But if you've got that atopic dermatitis, and if it's pruritic and you're itching it enough to where it bothers you, this is one of the things you really need to go see the doctor about, rather than try to take care of yourself.
Okay, moving right along.
You got any questions about that, Sam, Amanda, or you got it down? Okay.
All right, yeah, okay. All right. Now, this one, I understand it, but you're going to explain this. I recently moved to Florida. And started experiencing allergies. Okay. Started experiencing allergies. Could it be the area has something that wasn't in Georgia? So when we move to other areas, how does that affect us, and what could it be? Allergies
that
itself.
That answer is true, and true. Okay. First of all, that's true, and true. Throw those pictures up on the side over there where they don't get to be too big. You're looking there just at representative things that cause most allergies. To the left is a tree, happens to be a birch tree. To the right is ragweed, and then to the bottom is just plain grass. Well, everybody knows that down in Florida you got the Bermuda grass on the golf courses, and somewhere else we got the fescue grass. That question would have been much more appropriate to what actually happens if it said, I recently moved from Florida to Georgia and I got allergies. Is there something that could be different in the environment? The answer is either direction. That's the right answer. But most of the time, these environmental allergies are to dust mites, to cockroach debris, and to things that are common to the house regardless of where it is. And that's the ones where the people have it all year round. And then the seasonal allergy obviously starts right now. It starts just in, let's see, this is the 15th. Right now in Atlanta, that little yellow thing, what's that little yellow thing pops up? Jonquils or whatever it is. The little flower does like that. They are popping up out of the ground. Daffodils? Daffodils. Okay, those little daffodils are poaching up out of the ground. They're that high now. I haven't even been down there yet. But that starts on the 15th. Doesn't make any difference for snow on the ground. And then that's going to run through about June here. So down in Florida, it started months ago. And that's just basically grasses, trees, and the like, and they're all different. Now, the reason I said it'd be a much more common answer if you moved to Georgia is that Atlanta is 1,000 feet altitude, and Atlanta is one of the worst cities in the nation for allergies because they've got the mountains of Blue Ridge, Georgia, which is 1,800 feet, just 50 miles away as the crow flies, and then 50 miles away as the crow flies is the coastal plain, which is almost sea level. So the moving air brings the sea level coastal plain pollen to Atlanta before it brings the pollen to Atlanta, followed by the pollen from Blue Ridge. So Atlanta gets 3 different whacks of pollen. So this would be a much more common answer if the patients had moved from Florida to Georgia, but the answer is still the same.
You know, I have, it's a pear trees out in the front yard. And
that's the white one. Is that the white one?
Yeah. And yesterday I pulled in the driveway, and I noticed they have buds on them, and I said, "Oh no!" When 17 years ago when I first moved here, I thought it was the most beautiful thing.
Isn't it though?
No, not really. No, I don't think
it's beautiful. But your eyes water.
Yeah.
Your nose gets dry.
Yeah. Yesterday I was looking at the buds, and I'm like, "Oh no!" I used to go and. Don't say anything. I'm not saying negative. When I first moved up here 17 years ago, I would go down to LJ, and when you get down in there, they planted a whole row of them. Yeah. And the first year that I lived up here, I thought that's beautiful. That's the most beautiful thing. It just don't feel the same way anymore. I love it here, but it's just my eyes and.
I don't recall, Sam. You lived here all your life. When did they stop planting wildflowers in the interstate highway in the 515s?
They do them sporadically.
I know sporadically, but they ran all the way from Blue Ridge to Canton.
They still do it, but they're just not as.
Yeah, I know there are little spots of them, but it used to be everywhere. Yeah. I'd go ahead and throw up that chart that you got on there. It actually is about now that you need to go to the. Don't please pharmacists, I love you. But go to the Walmart or the Costco or the cheap place, and go in there and you'll see the Claritin, the Zyrtec, and the Allegra, and then right beside it you'll see the generic one. And it's going to be just a week or two before people like my wife are going to have to start taking that stuff and then take it till fall. And they're very inexpensive in the generic form. If you read the back of it, that chart there, you can just show it for a minute. If you read the back of it, it said side effects include your hair falls out, your feet go flat, and you have epileptic spells and everything else. That's not what that says. But none of that stuff happens. I mean, the side effects of non-sedating antihistamines are essentially zero. Otherwise, they wouldn't sell them over the counter. And it really is a self-medication thing that we approve of. And it's a lot easier to take that than then to get an obstructed airway and then an ear and to get an earache and everything else just because the pear tree is blooming. And when your car turns green from pine pollen,
I know.
You are not allergic to pine pollen. Do you know why?
Why?
Because the particle, the pine pollen is so heavy, it settles to the ground, makes your car green. it has to be invisible and very small for you to be able to inhale it. Now, as you know, you've got little hairs and mucus in the front of your nose, and as the air goes in, it spins like that. And centrifugally throws the pollen out, and it sticks to the membrane of your nose, and it doesn't get in where it can make you allergic unless it's really tiny. So that one doesn't make you sick, but every one of those grasses does.
Well, you don't know how much I'm looking forward to fresh cut spring grass. Okay, moving right along.
And Claritin. Okay, go ahead.
Moving right along. Hey, folks, in just a minute, we're going to be talking chili, fire, ice, and chili. What does?
I make great chili.
Yeah, do you?
Jane was a judge.
Oh, I should have never said chili.
Jane was a judge a few years ago, and I went down there. It was really cold. I remember it was really cold.
Oh, yes, 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago.
But we still had thousands of people.
Oh, yeah. And the Mercier daughter that everybody knows out there working, I said, look, you should be indoors. It's too cold out here. And all of these local people were out there in the absolute freezing cold, helping people get to the spot, saying, look, stand in the line and get your stuff. So, I mean, I was with the judge, but I didn't. I stood in every daggum line. I went through the thing, and then I turned around, went all the way back, and did it again. I did it twice.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in just a minute.
I'll tell you which one I said was best, but go ahead.
Oh, that was mine. I was in it that year. I remember you voted for me. I started having chills. And a headache, but no fever. Okay, these are the clues. I started having chills and a headache, but no fever. Should I be tested for the flu, or do you always have a fever with the flu?
I am really grateful for the question. How long, Sam, have I been talking about the flu? 8 months or something? Because we knew this was going to be bad. Generally, let's say when we're talking about somebody who has nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, or sore throat, and we say gargle hot salt water, take 2 aspirin, and call me in the morning, or watch this for a few days, and if it gets worse, do something. This is not the watch it for a few days. If you have the headache and the chills, remember that Tamiflu is only effective if begun in the first 24 to 48 hours of the flu. And interestingly, the first symptom of the flu generally is headache, aching, and then the chill and the fever. So if the headache has come and you've got the chill, but you don't have the ache yet, you don't have the fever, and it's right now, and you're in the middle of a flu epidemic, you get tested today, because the only way that the Tamiflu is going to do you any good is if you actually started on day 1 or day 2. So the answer is no. If you've got that starting, you don't have to have a fever yet. You really don't even have to feel like somebody's beat you up with a 2x4 yet. So a headache and a chill, if it's right now and today, you're going to go and get it checked for the flu. Now it's going to tell you that this told me something and tells you something I think is very important. Once you've got somebody in the house with suspected flu or tested flu, but if they were sick and they didn't go and now they get sicker the next few days, they need to stay in that house. They were shedding that virus 24 hours to 48 hours before that headache and chill began. They're going to shed the most of it on days 3 and 4 of the actual symptoms. So they shedded the virus for 2 days in the incubation period. Then they began with the symptoms. It's going to get worse, and worse. And then in the 4th day, it'll start to fall off. But they'll be shedding that virus for 7 or 8 days. So they should stay in the house, hand washing. You wash your hands. You remember a few weeks ago, paper plates, plastic cups, knives. I mean, they can make everybody in the house sick. So this is what happens in a house. Number 1 gets the thing. The incubation period then is 2 to 4 days. Then the second one gets the thing 2 to 4 days later. Then the third one gets the thing. And it used to be with other kinds of infections, if you had a fairly good sized house, once it had passed around the circle, it was like the, ring around the rosy or something. It came back around the second time. This flu won't, because you'll have antibodies from the first one. But the headache and the chill, go get tested. So I'm really.
So don't wait for fever.
Yeah, don't wait for fever, because that Tamiflu won't help you unless you got it early.
Okay, that's all the questions
I have. You like that one?
Yeah, I like that one.
Good.
I like that when I'm knocking on laminate or wood or whatever I have here. So don't. You had me a nervous wreck.
Okay. All right. We're not going to talk about the poop.
Okay. No, we're not. No, we are not talking about that.
Okay. I answered that one offline.
Yes, you answered that one offline. We'll do a special on that. Before we close today, like we always do, Dr. Whaley, do you have anything in the medical world or any research or anything out there, even if it teetered on politics from time to time? What would you like to close with today?
This first one does teeter on politics, but not totally. The head of the CDC, I think it was the CDC, had to resign, and they say that the worst thing she did was when she was head of the Health and Human Services in the state of Georgia. She took a $1 million contribution from Coca-Cola when they were having their healthy food campaign that said don't drink sodas and exercise more, and after she got the contribution, they changed the wording, like for Hillary Clinton, from don't drink sodas and exercise more to exercise more. Well, anyway, what I was going to say is, day before yesterday, and this made it to the actual news, that made it to the Communist News Channel and to the Fox. There was a study, and this is kind of important. When you have 105,000 people in your group, that's pretty statistically significant. So 105,000 Frenchmen, they followed them, and a 10% increase in the amount of processed food. Now that's going to mean these things, it's going to mean any kind of cookies or anything you buy at the supermarket. It really means many just prepared breads. An increase of 10% in processed foods raises by 12% the incidence of cancer. Now, what's the baseline from which you raise 10%? And the baseline that they had actually was quite low, because you got the 5 or 7 servings of vegetables and all that stuff. I think they allowed 6 servings a week of things like a donut to be the baseline. Then if you raise this up above 10%, you got a higher incidence of cancer. Well, that's kind of scary. And so it's another one of those things about control your snacking and stick to snacking on oranges and apples from Merciers and stuff like that.
Well,
and I got one more after you.
Go ahead. No.
I want you to comment on this one. I saw you at the Mercier's party, and you had one of those sweet things. I mean, I'm not tattling on you, but
get him, Dr. Wood.
No, the only thing he has wrong is he said I had one.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that was
incorrect. We met at the dessert table, and I had a plate full of them.
We were.
Basketball tournament.
Hey, you stop over there.
Before we started our fitness challenge.
Oh.
So we met.
He was getting warmed up.
Yeah, we met at the dessert table. We got over there, and they had those mini fried pies. I said, "How are you?"
It was good, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
let's move on.
All right, the next one. I think this is a huge advance in science. Everybody here will see it as a great opportunity to save a ton of money and improve outcomes in our kids and in athletes. There has been licensed by the FDA this week a blood test that takes 4 hours to run for a chemical in the blood called the Banyan Brain Trauma Test that is 97.5%. Think about that, 97.5% predictive that you have a concussion. And that saves you then. If it's negative, it's 99.6% predictive that you don't have a concussion. So when your kid falls off the swing set, or the kid out here at Fannin High School takes a whack, and they would have ended up in the emergency room getting a CT scan, which was the minimum requirement, you're going to save tens of thousands of CT scans because the blood test is negative. If the blood test is positive, you do the test, you enter the concussion protocol, and this hasn't hit the NFL yet, but you see how many guys have come off the field, gone into the tent, they say they're in the concussion protocol and will not return. This would not let them return because it's a 4-hour-long test, but it might get them back into practice the next day. So I think that's a huge advance in science.
Thank you, Dr.
It's
Whaley.
not going to be cheap.
We have a viewer question real fast.
Okay.
Okay, someone sent in, where can you get tested for the flu without having to wait for 3 hours at the doctor's office? Can you get tested at a pharmacy?
The answer to the question is, unfortunately, the tests for the flu virus are in short supply today. And if you go to a doctor's office or an urgent care center, you may find that they don't even have it in stock. And no, you can't get tested at a pharmacy unless it's a CVS or one of those pharmacies that have what they call the Minute Clinic. And we don't have a Minute Clinic in the mountains. CVS and Caremark, as you see, are going to merge, and I think you're going to find Minute Clinics 2 years from now everywhere. And yes, you would be able to be tested there, but you're not tested.
So you suggest calling walk-in places first to see if they even have the test?
Yes, call the walk-in place and call your doctor. Do you have the flu test in stock? If not, keep on looking, and you may have to end up in an emergency room. I think all the emergency rooms are kept supplied and that they have not run out of them.
Okay, folks, we want to thank Georgia Cancer Specialists every week for this segment. If you have a question for the doc, I'll give you an example. This is my question, and I'm doing it now because I don't want it answered until next week, but he will know a week in advance. I sit home and watch TV, and they keep telling me if I send in so much money and take a DNA test, they'll come back and tell me, you know, where all my 1,000 ancestors are from. And but is that real? I don't know, but that's one of my questions. Do you have a question for the doc? Info, I-N-F-O, at fetchernews.com. Put in the subject line, ask the doc, send us a question. We'll get it to Dr. Whaley. Are those DNA tests on TV? Are they real? I don't know. I'm asking the doc now. You can ask a question too. Again, thank you, Georgia Cancer Specialist. We're getting ready to talk for just a couple minutes about chili. How can you go wrong talking about chili? Right after these messages.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. All I do is win.
The Tupelo Tea mission is to provide over 80 premium tea blends for tea lovers who are looking for ways to explore new flavors and blends. Come visit Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge at Sycamore Crossing. Be sure to sample our various varieties of honey and tea. Visit us on the web at tupelotea.com or call us at 706-946-TEAS. That's T-E-A-S. Tupelo Tea, located in beautiful downtown Blue Ridge.
Better days ahead. It's just this simple. Nobody beats Days on price. If it's a Chevy, you'll pay less at Days Chevrolet in Jasper. Now save $4,000 off a new 2018 Chevy Malibu, or save up to $10,000 off a new 2018 Silverado Crew Cab. It doesn't matter which Chevy you choose. Nobody beats Days on price. $10,000 off Silverados and $4,000 off Malibus at Days Chevy in Jasper.
Better days ahead, Days Chevrolet.
Find new roads.
Papa's Pizza to Go in downtown Blue Ridge is the best in the area all-you-can-eat buffet. Call ahead or order online now at papaspizzatogo.com. Use our convenient pickup window for the best in pizza, subs, wings, breadsticks, salads, and more. And be sure to check out our lively game room. We serve lunch and dinner, catering available, take out or dine in. Papa's Pizza to Go in Blue Ridge, proud sponsors of the Fannin County Rebels.
what you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey folks, we're back and I'm your host BKP and we're at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge, and I have with me, joining me now is Pam Fink, and we're going to talk chili, fire, and ice, and we're going to put all of them together. Pam, how are you?
I am wonderful.
You know, the last time we got together was Light Up Blue Ridge. You seem to keep getting involved in these things, these downtown events, don't you?
Have for several years.
I know you have. So tell our viewers, if I say fire, ice, chili, cook-off, push it all together, what do we have coming up this weekend?
Fire and Ice is tomorrow from 11 to 5. It is our 8th annual chili contest and ice sculpture display. It includes this year 16 chili contestants and 22 ice sculptures from the park through all around downtown Main Street.
So, ice sculptures. This is the largest display in the Southeast at one time of ice sculptures in the Southeast, correct?
Absolutely.
And these are amazing. I mean, and they do several right there during the day tomorrow. You can actually watch this being done, correct?
3. Rock on Ice has been our ice carver for the whole 8 years.
That's Rock on Ice. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but
for the whole 8 years that we've been doing this, he is a world champion ice carver. We send our orders in weeks in advance. He carves the 22 ice sculptures in advance, brings them down in a refrigerator car, and installs them tomorrow morning. Then once those are installed, he goes to the park and he has 3 large blocks, and he, through the course of the day, does 3 separate sculptures, demonstrations right there.
So these ice sculptures, several have been ordered from downtown businesses, and they're scattered out, so they're worth the walking around and viewing, to take your time, take the family and walk through town to view several of them, right? If
the business is on Main Street, then 99% of the time the ice sculpture is in front of their store on the sidewalk. So you can walk by, touch it, have your picture taken with it. Many of them are interactive, so you can stick your head through the...
Yeah, I had a picture of that this week, yes.
And then if you have businesses like Dairy Queen and Mercier's that are not in town, then those ice sculptures are in the park in a little ice sculpture area close to where the carving is. So if they're not downtown, they're in the park.
Okay, that is the ice sculptures, 22, Rock on Ice. And I'm telling you, I've gone... I think if they've been there 8 years, I've gone for 8 years. Rock on Ice, and he will have 3 big blocks of ice there, right there in the park. And the kids are, he gets these big crowds all the way around. Kids are just amazed watching these carvings on
ice is flying everywhere.
All right, we've had enough ice. Let's move to chili. Hey, I need a favor. 2 years ago, I entered, and I did not win. Can you look into that for me? Something was wrong.
I campaigned against you.
I'm concerned with the judges, because you keep bringing that Ralston fella back.
Ralston will be here this year.
We're going to talk about let's talk about the contest first, the 18 entries, and then let's go through our distinguished panel of judges we have this year.
Okay, the contestants are broken down into restaurants. They're in their own category: individuals, teams, and juveniles. Juvenile being 17 and under. And so a 6 and 8 year old is not competing with a restaurant. So we try to keep it fair. And there's two different sets of awards. The judges, a panel of 5, taste every single chili and grade it on flavor, on all kinds of things that I'm not involved with the judges, right. So I don't know what they judge it on, but they judge it. Then you can, as a visitor, you can taste all the chilies yourself and you can.
There's a card, right?
There's a card
right.
that you get at the front gate that you can vote on the People's Choice Award, and that's what all the contestants are really vying for.
They love that.
They want the People's Choice Award. The people who've tasted and eaten their chili, that's who they want. That's the vote they want.
Our judges this year, House Speaker David Ralston, Georgia House Speaker David Ralston will be one of our judges. Kay Kendall will be another one of our judges that I have up here. Bob Evans, another judge, and Mr. Doug David, and B. Allison Sosby, our district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss anybody?
Nope, you've got them all.
That's all of our judges.
That's
okay?
our judges this year.
So that's who I need to be nice to today.
Absolutely.
So I could do a review of what happened. What time does this start tomorrow?
The gates open at 11, but you can't start tasting chili until 12 because they have until 12 to continue to cook.
Because this is a contest.
This is a contest.
Right.
So you come at 8, you buy your tasting cards, you roam around and start seeing the different ice sculptures, and then you start eating it at 12. If you want to vote for Taster's Choice, you have to have your card turned in by 3.
So if you want to do a People's Choice and you want to vote, now how much is a tasting card?
$10.
So for $10, you get to go to 16?
Yes.
You get to go to 6. You get to taste 16 different chilies for $10, and then you fill in the People's Choice card. You turn it in by 3, and
at any one of the gates.
At any one of the gates. Then after that, can they sell you chili after
yes,
that?
If there's chili left, and honestly, there's often not,
right?
Because there's so many people. But after 2:30, they'll start selling chili. If you want it to buy a bowl of chili, and every chili contestant will sell the quantity for the amount they want. They're completely in charge of that, of their own destiny, so to speak. So it may be a small bowl for $1, it may be a big bowl for $3.
Okay, last thing. One, we have ice, we have fire, we have a chili cook-off. I heard, will there be wine and beer?
Just might be a tad.
Might be a little bit.
Might be a little bit of wine and beer. We've got, I think, 3 different vendors will be here in their very large trucks selling beer, wine, and water.
So have a glass of wine, taste 16 chili, different kinds of chili, and roam around and look at all the ice sculptures and enjoy your day where else but Blue Ridge, downtown Blue Ridge, right?
Exactly, and at 4 o'clock, the announcement of the winners will take place in the park.
4 o'clock, the announcement of the winners in the park. Pam, thank you very much. You don't want to miss this. Thousands of people. This is 8 years. Rock on Ice. You don't want to miss it. Thousands of 10. Again, and we got the shuttle running this year.
We have the shuttle running, and almost forgot, we'll have live band. Owl Creek Band will be there in the park at the gazebo playing all day.
You're making this difficult for me. So now I got to remember the band, the chili, the ice, beer truck. Get your tasting card, $10.
And the shuttle will be running.
And the shuttle will be running. $10 tasting card, but starts at noon, tasting at noon. Don't miss it, downtown Blue Ridge. There's a Facebook page, Fire and Ice. Do you want more information? You can go to the Facebook page, and you can see last year's winners and all of the pictures of the judges on Facebook. Good?
Correct.
All right, right after these messages, it's time for the All-Star Panel. Take us a break.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on-site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Medium Pizza Hut pizzas just $5.99 each.
Did they say Pizza Hut?
For $5.99?
Yes, and yes.
Yes! Introducing the deal you want on the pizza you crave. 2 medium pizzas just $5.99 each. No one out pizzas the hot.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ellijay next to Walmart.
Had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
Hey, good morning. We're back. I'm your host, BKP. We're live at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. As I told you earlier, JR handed me this first time ever at Circuit World. $10 down. If you have $10 to the end of February, everything in the store is 6 months, same as cash. Bring $10 and you have 6 months, same as cash. First time ever at Circuit World. Hi, Jane. How are you?
I'm well.
And Rick?
I'm well as well.
And Bruce? Oh, Bruce didn't show up.
Bruce is on his way to the airport.
You know,
when Bruce's ship comes in, he'll be at the airport.
Bruce is off to visit family and friends, so we wish him and his wife a safe trip, and we'll see him back. See you later, JR. We'll see him back next week. So it's the 3 of us. It's just the 3 of us, baby. What happened in America? I mean, what has happened? And I know I told when I opened up this morning, okay, I said when I opened, I said I'm going to talk to the All-Star panel, and the question is going to be this big, and they're going to be saying, okay, how do we frame this? But do you sit and say, just every once in a while, what happened? What happened in this country?
Well, I say that every day because I'm into that, what's going on and behind the scenes. I
understand, but I mean,
yes.
Bringing it down to this school shooting, I mean, how do we get where we're at? And what say you? I put this out. One of our viewers, I said, what happened in America? And somebody wrote in, for me, the answer is simple. America has started chasing the all-powerful dollar and decided to abandon family values. We went We went to a two-income society and left our children behind to fend for themselves. We started to rely on teachers and media, TV and computer, to raise our children. I don't think we have a gun problem. We have an accountability problem, starting with parents. Now, that was a viewer out there. I asked that question, and that's, huh? That's the answer I got right there.
Well, for me, it starts a long time before this issue. I mean, back in the 60s.
Back in the day.
Back in the day when it started, we didn't realize it. Like Disney was putting subliminal things in, and more terror, and was coming onto movies. All that changed, and I think that was by plan. So what's happening now is just a culmination of really a lot of work for the whomever to disrupt this whole country and be able to just tell it where it wants it to go. And like now it's happening. There was a woman the other day, don't know her name, she was saying everyone's weeping for these children. We're just heartbroken, and she was saying the same thing, but then she said now we need to get rid of guns, and lamenting the thing, which is true. But then she's the woman who supports abortion, who doesn't mind, in my view, killing how many million people a year.
I agree with you. I don't know how they stand up and say we have to get rid of guns, but if so many millions,
it's a lot of things that are ruining our country.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
there's
just coming from everywhere.
Moral compass.
Yeah,
the family unit, disintegration of the family unit. I think it's huge.
This kid's 19. He's 19 now. We're talking this week a lot about mental illness. What happened to our kids? Because I mean, you know, this is all the time now, and we're starting to look at mental illness. What say you, Rick, when you hear all? I mean, this kid could walk away with mental illness.
My wife Cindy and I went to see 1517 to Paris last week. There's a scene in there where two of the moms come into the school, and the teacher is telling them, and this is a true story, that their kids needed to be medicated. I think there's issues at the school level where so many kids are taking drugs for probably things they don't need to be medicated for. ADD, ADHD, all of the little acronyms you can come up with. And I mean,
that's a huge thing.
That's enormous.
They want them to take that so they'll be more disciplined, actually.
Yeah.
Because if kids are a little feisty, that's really a good thing. They're not boring. They want to just calm
down. My grade school life in the corner.
I got a spanking in the first grade.
Okay, so I have no choice. I have no choice.
Came down the slide on my stomach. They told me not to. I said, that is ridiculous. I've been doing this for years. Met me at the bottom. Janie?
This conversation's getting dangerous. I know. But no, I love what you just said, because that's the problems we used to have.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying, is a kid trying to slide down, quit coming down there the slide that way, so you got a spanking. So that's the problem we used to have.
But it sounds so corny and old-fashioned, but it's true. And you say it all the time. Somebody moves to town, hey, where's your baseball glove?
I have a baseball glove.
That a girl. I mean, we used to go
Slow down.
I mean, it's true. It's true.
But now the kids are working their thumbs like there's no tomorrow. And, I'm sorry, but, right, wrong, or indifferent, my grandkids, my son's kids anyway, they're allowed a very, very small period of time to get on the thing. And they're 3.5 years old.
So ADD.
They tell my wife how to turn the volume up on the phone at 3.5 years old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
ADD, I have to share this with you, attention deficit disorder, ADD, right? So I know nothing about ADD,
But I is one.
So I'm coaching a baseball team. This is back somewhere in the 80s. Okay. Now, don't take this wrong, parents. Please do not. But this is when ADD started to become popular.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
that's a good word for it.
So
it was the in thing to have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So
what drug does your kid take?
I've got a 10-year-old baseball team, and I'm the coach, right? And so at the end of practice, you always get the dads, okay, that come up. How's my son doing? You talk to him, all right? So this one dad comes up to me. I'll never forget it, right? He comes up to me. He said, "How's my son doing at practice?" Well, his son actually was, the kid that I couldn't get to, settle down. Get out there and stand still. Don't move. If I catch you over there, okay. So I said very nicely. Well, I said very nicely to him. I said, your son's doing a great job. He's just a little hyper. Oh my God! You would thought I had
fighting words.
That he looked at me. I said, "Your son's doing great. He's a little hyper." Now, when we were kids, we were just a little hyper.
How long? Have
Do you remember that?
Oh, sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I said, he's doing real well. He's just a little hyper. He's not hyper. He has ADD. I'm thinking, because at this time I don't have Google. I can't go. What the hell is ADD? Is it? So I can't go ADHD. Is that what it is? Okay, so I can't go.
There's ADD and there's ADHD.
I can't Google it, right? Because we haven't gotten there yet, all right? So I can't Google it. And I'm thinking, what'd this guy just tell me? I mean, I feel bad for the kid. Then I go.
He has a disease.
Then I go and I start looking it up, and
is that a spinal disorder or what?
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
So, should I start a fundraiser?
GoFundMe page.
Yeah. So anyhow, I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't want to finish. Then I go home, I start studying. I said, when I get done, the kid's hyper.
It's
I'm
basically,
sorry.
and it's
I didn't mean
also
to tell that story, but
no, let me tell you, we could sit and tell stories all day long. But Cindy, again, used to be when she taught for years and years, she was a coach, and I mean, she coached volleyball and basketball, and these kids would go on trips, and she'd recruit me sometimes to drive the bus because I had the right license, and she would have to get all the medication gathered up. And there'd be plastic bags full of stuff that these kids had to take every day. Everything from asthma to ADHD to, you name it. And they had an ailment for it. And I'm telling you, I just go, Jiminy.
I have a story that might be pertinent to parents listening now, because some of that's still going on. But our daughter is going to be 36 next month. So she was diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and they wanted to put her on Ritalin first. Well, in my carpool I watched the kids as they went on ADD, and they all were zombies, one after another.
Zombies, exactly.
So I said to the doctor, that is not going to happen. I would rather have my daughter talking to me and doing whatever she's doing than being a zombie. So they said, oh, Jane, you have to do it. I said, look, here's what I'm going to do. We can tell the teacher she's going to get this medicine, but we aren't going to tell the teacher what day she gets it. Anything. If there's a change, every day the teacher says there was a change in behavior or they're not. We went through 4 of these things and the teacher never said there was really a change. So some kids, and then they keep getting the doses bigger and bigger. So I said, this proves to me this isn't helping what she's got. We finally found something that she had her really attention. She couldn't concentrate or read the lines, and she had to be able to focus. But they just throw this Ritalin and stuff out there like it's a candy bar, and the kids are zombies. I watched it happen in front of mine. So parents need to need to do some investigating before you agree to give your children
I think
Ritalin.
To cover that broad spectrum question, we'd need a half a day show.
Well, I agree.
There's so many contributing factors. We couldn't even touch on them all in this 20-minute segment.
Well, the bureaucracy of education and what has happened, and we're here today trying to figure out what went wrong, and 17 kids and a football coach that is a security guard. Let's go there with that, okay? So we have a guy, he's a security guard. He doesn't have a gun. He's dead. He threw his body in front of bullets for kids. He's a security guard, assistant football coach. Now, if I got it right, this is a guy who grew up there, always
Yeah, he
wanted
went to high school
Yeah,
there.
went to high school there.
He's a ledge.
And you know, but why does the security guard not have a gun?
But they do now.
I mean,
That debate was all over the TV.
what do we do at the schools? Let's just switch it up. Go
Let me
ahead.
ask you a really goofy question.
No,
With the technology we have today, why do we need brick and mortar schools? I'm just asking. I don't know.
We need some
Is
socialization.
that a crazy question?
No, but we need
No.
socialization.
No. I understand what he said.
all the
I understand what he
socialization.
said.
Yeah,
I
that's
understand what he
important.
said.
That's important.
I agree. We need the socialization. Well, then wait a minute. We need the socialization, but they're not.
No, they're
the
not.
kids are even
They
going
don't
to
even
the
talk to
schools
each
and they're
other.
not even, the socialization's not there. They're on social media. Okay,
No, they have social media blocked at all the schools.
the schools.
Yes.
Yes,
When
I
you're in
agree with
school,
that.
they
Huh?
participate.
Wi-Fi has social media blocked at all the schools, and they do make them do group projects. I understand they don't
Yeah, they
do as
do.
much socialization as they used to. They also don't get to learn without technology, which is ridiculous. They take tests online. They do all their tests on computers now. Teachers don't grade papers. But, so that part I don't agree with. I mean, that part would go into the taking.
All right, she's got her paw up.
Well, those are, Sam has older kids at home.
Yeah.
Like
Middle school and high school.
elementary, I have elementary school. Everything's paper. They do have computer lab. No phones are allowed. But when you transition into middle school, that's when you start getting your own tablet. That's when all of your stuff's on computer. So it's like the older you get, everything is still
They
brick
want
and
you to be
mortar
dependent
at
on
elementary.
technology.
Right. Because see, they're having to learn at elementary age. They're having to learn to write. Their style of writing, their style.
Thank
of
God they're
reading.
still doing
They
that.
can't do
Wow.
They want you to have a brick and mortar mentality at elementary school. But when you start having all these assignments and all these papers, they are wanting to do everything on the computer. That way, it's ridiculous.
Okay, what do we do for the security now? First of all, I'm concerned that we've gotten to the point that we have to have this level of security. Israel, I understand, has an average of 3 teachers in the building that are well trained and armed, and you don't know who they are, and their school doors latch the minute they're closed. And
What's
they
wrong
can-
with that idea in our schools?
And they can open, the emergency bar will open them. But
My grandchildren's school is latched. You have to ring a buzzer. But if this kid that was kicked out last year came, and I'm not sure they'd say you can't come in. But my idea is it's a shame and I hate it, but metal detectors in every exit. And I know it's expensive, but
Well, they do in a lot of
ask these
schools.
17 people how expensive they care. And if you have metal detectors, that is because 3 teachers who have a gun may not be in the place where he's already shot 5, 6 people. I mean, I'm for teachers taking classes and being armed.
okay, my heart is broken, but the total picture, I'm very nervous over right there. Florida shooting calls for mental health action. Do you hear that? Right?
Yep.
Okay, Trump seeks to comfort nation in week of Florida shoot, calls for mental health action. And I'm not taking the president to task, but that calls for mental health action makes me a nervous wreck.
Why?
Because, I'll just say it candidly, the Jews didn't think it could happen. Okay? And I think when you go, I think this is this, and I don't want to go this route because it has really nothing to do with this shooting, but when we have somebody like a Joy Behar this week say that our vice president, that when God speaks to you, okay, you're mentally ill. Okay, let me ask you a question.
God's spoken to me, by the way.
Has God spoke to you?
Yes.
You're crazy as hell.
That's
All
what
right.
she said.
That's
That's not what you said.
No, that's what Joy Behar said.
How is Joy Behar still on
Why
ABC?
is
But,
she-
but what
why
I'm
is
saying
she
is, I'm not
involved
giving
here?
her. I'm not giving her this
Credit.
big platform. I'm just saying she let the cat out of the bag. That's what they think. They think Christianity is a mental illness. I'm telling you, they do, and it concerns me that when we have calls for. All right, we had calls after 9/11 that it was necessary to secure us. Our government continues to find reasons it's necessary to help us.
You put the
right?
hammer on the
Patriot
head.
Act.
Right?
Yeah.
They always have something. Now,
That's
my
the
heart's
plan.
broken over this and these families, and my heart is broken, but our government always has things that are there to help us. Now the government's calling for the mental health. So we've yelled gun control for how long? Not we, but, you know, gun control. 95% of Americans in their poll say, you know, better, more extensive background checks, okay? And the concern is mental health. Let's say if you go over and you fill out a gun permit, and have you ever had any, no, but underneath religion, Christianity.
They made the.
What happens? Well,
I did that, and they passed me here in Blue Ridge. I have a caring.
But they don't ask you if you're a Christian.
I don't remember. I doubt it. I'd have been furious.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I know that's.
Is that on there?
No, it's not
But
on
he's
there.
saying they may put it on there.
I'm just saying this is one of those things. 5 years from now, I'll give it a full 5 years, and you're going to be sitting somewhere and say, "Well, hell, he was right." The mental illness, because why do we have the mental health problem today? Now I know we do.
Parents aren't paying it. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's and Bill will kill me for this, but those inoculations are not a good thing, and there are other reasons.
Bill doesn't know you said that.
There's aluminum, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons why there's more mental health now, but
mental health issues.
Now, I want to make sure for the audience to understand, I am not making light of mental health.
No, make sure, yeah. But here's the thing: this guy and
I probably have not. I probably crossed all political correct lines to call you crazy.
Yeah, that
I shouldn't have done that.
That was.
I need to retract that.
You are pushing the envelope, as they said in Top Gun.
Okay.
So. The thing is,
what happens at the table stays at the table, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, here's a caveat. This has happened but this guy here, whom I will not say his name, I don't want him to show his picture. I don't want them to show whom he's affiliated with, because that just glorifies whom he's everything. Just say
it
that
validates.
Yeah, that person, and everyone's. Oh, I want to. So number one, this guy was pointed out to the FBI. He's got things on his Facebook page, guns. He's kind of said something about shooting. Given to the FBI, and they say, well, he can say things, and they just let it go. That is an abomination. If I go to the FBI and say, my neighbor said this, but can you prove it? No. But in a Facebook page, you can, and they absolutely look the other way. If that's not a red flag saying, I want to be a professional school shooter, hello. And all right. Now, wait, that is ridiculous.
Okay. Constitution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just look at them. They can spy.
Anthony Scalia said the Constitution is a legal document.
But that is a threat.
No, I understand what you're saying.
That's a legitimate thing.
So where are we at on our freedom of speech? You hear them yelling. My concern is the government helping me. It just scares the hell out of me. Anytime I know the government's out to help me,
the government is here to help.
Yeah.
You.
Anytime I find
Reagan's line.
What?
Anytime someone shows up and says, "I'm from the government to help you," run.
The government says, now they're all on there saying, well, it's a Facebook and YouTube and a Google. They have some responsibility in this to, censor what I post?
No, this was the FBI. They got him.
No, I understand. But he says now social media. Exactly. Who is going to watch that? Are we going to have a new level of regulations on censorship for social media?
We have a censorship czar.
Never know. Exactly. Got to switch subjects because we do have enough time. We do not, sadly, there was an emergency, so we don't have a pet of the week. They had this morning. So I got a couple extra minutes. Let's switch to the DACA. What say you, Rick? They're going to go home, and there's no vote on DACA. And shockingly enough, the liberal Republicans, not Democrats, we always know where they're coming from. So, I mean, who's shocked, right? That Chuck Schumer and them. But
10 million.
10 million.
They wanted amnesty for. They meaning what do they call it? The gang of 16 or 6 or.
So they want amnesty for 10 million. Now,
what in the world?
I thought when we were on the campaign trail, I thought I would hear numbers like there's 11 million undocumented in here, right? Somewhere around that, right? So if they want 10, was it 10 or 11? So what they're saying is just everybody.
That's what they're saying.
That's the word, right? Everybody.
Rush had an interesting comment the other day, talking about, the deep state, the Dems, they're trying to bring the president down every way they can.
Oh, absolutely.
Rush said the only way the president goes down is if he signs an amnesty package, because the base voted him in for that simple reason.
Right.
He said he wasn't going to do that. And I think that's going to hurt him if all of a sudden...
If he signs an... Well, word is he, said, hey, don't send it here, I'll veto it. So, he's giving the impression that, he's not going to accept that, and I think they're back to the drawing board. In fact, Lindsey Graham came out yesterday and said something to the reference of like, Mr. President, get those basically right-wing wackos out of your ear, and so...
Lindsey Graham said that?
Well, talking about... No, I mean, he didn't say it that way, but you understand what I'm saying? He said you need to quit listening to you and I, okay, and start listening to them.
Oh, we're right-wing wackos and he's not? Lindsey Graham?
Lindsey
I think
Graham
he borders on traitor.
Okay. All right, now our next segment, Traitors in America. What say you? You got a list? Let's just do a show. No, let's do a whole show, Traitors in America.
Oh, well, I could do at least 30 minutes all by myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here is what concerns me, because I always watch the timeline and we got to move the subject. They spent how long telling us that our president is not mentally stable to hold office, right? Right.
That was Maxine Waters and
all of them.
What's her name?
And then MSNBC, CNN
Nancy
even
Pelosi.
had. Okay, if people out there think I'm so far in left field, CNN even had a panel of psychologists, right, on the panel, and they broke down his actions and everything and analyzed, right?
Oh,
okay.
We spent time on it with the doc.
So,
we spent time
right.
on the mental
So
plan.
they are talking about mental instability. Okay. Now we have this shooting and mental health. I'm nervous about what they may do to help us. That's what.
Yeah,
coming
they
out
may
of
say
this.
I'm mentally ill, according to their standard. I mean, that's what it could come to.
You watch one of my
that's what
shows
it
now.
could
You
come to.
think I'm joking? Watch one of my full shows, and you don't think they're going to tag me as crazy?
Well, you are a little different than I, but no. But I feel the same way as you about.
Yeah, that was unanimous.
No, I mean, people. I do tweet for fun. Twitter. I don't know. I do. It's fun. I mean, I like to read, but it doesn't really do any good. But I do it just to see how many people I can get. But I'm reading all these people, and I'm thinking, all of these people are on a list. We're all on a list.
I agree 100%. How many of you here today are excited to find out that Mitt Romney is running for Senate?
Oh my God, I'm throwing up. I'm throwing up. He is the deep state personified, and you never knew it. He is so deep. And they are, oh my goodness.
Okay. It's 9:30 and we do have extra time. So Rick, what are you closing with today?
Oh man, I didn't know we were closing
I hadn't even
already.
thought.
Well, it's 9:30. I mean, we don't have to be in a rush because I don't have my pet of the week, and Jason's coming in with Team FY Sports in a couple minutes. So what subject would you did you come here this morning and say?
Something up we can discuss. Good. Mine are all too far out for Brian. It makes him nervous. He gets really nervous when I say something.
This has been said so many times, but I don't even know what to think anymore with some of the hypocrisy that comes out of a tragedy like this.
Oh yeah.
And the agendas that immediately start flying around. If some of these people could rationally think how the genie is out of the bottle with guns, okay? You can't turn back the clock. The fact remains that there are, millions of guns in gun owners' hands that will never do anything like this. But we are all made out to be the bad guys because we own guns. We own cars too. We go to doctors. All of these,
But that's the plan. You got it.
There's just nothing that we could do to stop something like this. I mean, what are we going to do? Outlaw box trucks? I mean, they're killing people with box trucks driving down the sidewalk. Is that analogous to a gun shooting? If someone really wants to harm somebody, they're going to find a way.
Yeah.
You don't have to limit it to an AR-15.
And when you come up with the gun conversation, if you look at the shootings that take place, predominantly all soft targets.
No question.
All soft targets. So the mental health, but they're soft targets. But I think you're exactly right. I just wish, as far out as I am, that people would just take a minute and Google, because like I said with ADD back in the 80s, I didn't have Google. You are so fortunate, not to say you have Google, but you have research available that we used to have to go find a book at the library. That being said, I wish people would go and read some history.
Yeah.
And Google government asked you to give up your guns or something like that, and read all the history of where the people were living and thought it couldn't happen. And I think we're so on the edge, and they've been trying to take the guns away from, and they start on, well, we don't want your hunting rifle. Well, I don't.
Well, they will.
But they will,
No.
exactly.
Here's what I think this is my new project. I love Bruce's Rules for Radicals, and I think we ought to just keep that up the whole time back here so people won't forget it. We need to expose hypocrisy. And if I were Sean Hannity, that's what I would be doing. Literally, I would say so and so said this, but da 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 da, and that's when I'm going to bring one, and anyone else can join me. Who was the most hypocritic? I'll be nice and say person. Here's an example of just incredible hypocrisy. Yeah, that's and I'm going to bring it. And I think if Sean would do it, Denise D'Souza, does. Everyone needs to do it, because after you say it enough, people are going to start listening, and that's what the Dems do to us. They keep pushing how dumb we are. Blah blah. We need to push. This is hypocrisy. We're not making it up. We're going to show what they said there. Dianne Feinstein, did you see her old thing? We should not let these immigrants come in here. Did you see that one when she was young?
Yeah.
They can't come in here. We can't afford it. And now that is the ultimate hypocrisy. Right. So we need to bring this out and expose it, because finally, I think some people are going to say, they got a point there.
But people don't think when they hear a statement like 33,000 people are killed annually by guns. Wait a minute.
How many are killed by abortion?
20,000 of those people are a result of suicide deaths.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You break the numbers down.
See, we need to educate people on all those things.
When they throw these sound bites out, people don't say, wait a minute, let's break this down. And you can take that for any hypocrisy statement that comes out. It's just incredible how people just don't dig a little bit, do the research, and think, people. Think of what you just heard, and if it makes common sense to you.
I will say this, and sometimes when you frame something in a box, it's I can't say every mass shooting, but just pay attention closely that this is the generation when we get into 19 years old, 20 years old, because now we're going back to just the tip of 97, 98, okay? This is the group of kids that we finally gave up and gave to the government to raise. Remember that. Just remember that in the box. Now, are all of the problems that happened to this young man in his life, throughout his life at 19 years old, attributed to that? I don't know. Is this a kid that just does have a mental health problem? I don't know. But don't forget, right now we're sitting on the 19 and 20-year-olds that we gave to the government. And I know I've got people yelling at me, but let me tell you something. When pre-K starts at 2.5 years old, and then we go to the point to where the government feeds you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or somewhere in the South Supper or wherever you're at, okay? Sorry, I got that. Dinner's noon, right? But we've got you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We went to pre-K is 2.5 years old. We went to kindergarten's a full day. I mean, when I was a kid, you can understand, you can tell what's wrong with me because we only had half-day kindergarten and we didn't have much more than blocks. Okay, so you can understand what my problem is.
I didn't go to kindergarten. I couldn't afford it
the
because
law
it wasn't
back
free.
then did not require it.
And I
That's
couldn't afford
exactly
to go
right.
to the Little Red School.
And breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the government. Just remember, this is where we are reaping from here on out what we get. Am I wrong?
No, but
this is the age where we really gave the kids to the government to raise.
What's happening? And
Now, I know mom and dad's got mad at me. I know. Oh no, I got so many friends out there.
Well,
You're
we don't
great
have a
parents.
choice. They
Amanda's a
gotta
great.
go to
Amanda gave. You should have heard the other day. Amanda's doing an awesome job with her kids. Sam's doing an awesome job with her nieces. So I don't want to throw that box totally. You understand?
Yeah, you weren't saying that. Our kids have to go to school now. Homeschooling is becoming a little more accepted, but they have a hard road to hoe. But the thing is that I know you've seen this like a year or two ago. There's a woman, and she's saying, when are the parents going to learn that the children are not their children? They are the community's children, kind of like it takes a... She says that, I can find it. When the parents need to learn their children are not theirs. They are ours. She says that on national TV.
Folks,
that's the agenda.
They will not give school vouchers to parents for two basic reasons.
Yeah.
One, the money. They don't want to lose the money. And two, they want your children.
Out of control.
I've heard time and time again from...
They want your children.
My wife's colleagues from school, they used to sit and say, when did it all of a sudden become our responsibility to raise those parents' kids? We're here to teach them, not to raise them.
You know, I said this on the show, and I know we got to go, but I said this on the show when I opened up. Our generation has been talking all week like, remember when, you know, what happened. And as backward as they may think I am out there, the kids, okay, I mean, you did not want your mom and dad to find out from your teacher
No.
that you were in trouble in school. Now, there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. Now, it's totally opposite. Let me tell you something. We can go on a list. My mom used to do book bag inspection, son. You walk through the front door, you got off that bus, you come to that front door, you drop that book bag, and she went through there because if there was a note from the teacher.
Oh, a note from the teacher.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Our teacher
I was a boy, and I would kind of hide the note from the teacher, so my mom had to do some extra investigating on me.
We didn't have book bags.
We didn't either.
We didn't have book
bags.
I know you put a belt around them.
No,
I know
I didn't
that
even
was
do that. You carry them like this.
Carry them on your hip.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
Let's go with this real quick.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's go with this real quick. Let's have some fun. Do you remember? All right. What is this? This is your test. This is your test. Okay. You remember we used to go first day of school and we got all excited because we went to every class and they handed out our books. Right? Got a science book, math book. Right. So you bring all these books home. All right, what'd you do that night?
You cut up shopping bags and
shopping bags, right?
You covered them.
Yeah, and the rich kids went to the store and bought book covers. You always knew those were like the snotty kids, like you. Yeah.
Roller bags.
Exactly. I thought A and P.
We didn't use those, but
I thought A and P was for two things: grocery bags and book covers.
Oh.
Huh? Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I
Yeah,
can't
you make sure
remember
you
what we
turn the
covered
paper
ours
inside
in.
out too, so the label didn't show.
Yeah,
That
book
way
covers.
that way
You
you
had, and then
brown craft
and then
book covers.
Yeah,
the
we
book
did that,
covers were
brown
great
craft.
because
Oh, yeah,
then
I'm
you
thinking-
could doodle on the books.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you
I
remember
know.
we sold our books when the year was ending. Did you sell your books? So the more you wrote in them, the less value they had. And your mother would say, "You're writing in that book," but sometimes you need to take notes.
Book covers, and if you had, and then you got the fancy kids that went to the
Sell
store
your
and got book covers.
Book cover.
Yeah, you go to the book covers.
You know,
Oh
when
my
you
gosh!
said grocery, I was thinking plastic bags. Give me a break. It was brown paper bags.
What do they do now? I get
don't
an
have
inbox.
books.
Wait a
They
minute!
don't
No!
have
have any books.
They don't have
any
books.
books.
And they do not cover them.
And they don't bring them home. They leave, if they do have books, 90% of them are for the classroom. They don't send them home with the kids. They don't even bring home in the middle school. My middle schooler has homework once a week in math.
Let me.
But how do they learn? I mean, my kids in New York State, they have oodles of homework. It's hard.
Google has started Google Classroom. This is several years ago.
Great.
We need to talk about Google Classroom. They have taken over the classroom.
Brainwash.
They came in and made a deal with the schools.
Brainwash.
And yes, but I want one more thing. I want to close. I got to close with this. Okay. If now everything is computerized and technology and you have no books, then what happened to the days where if you don't turn these BKB, if you don't turn these 2 books in by Thursday, you don't graduate? You remember all the kids that
They
were
hold over their head.
You remember all the kids that
A
were looking
hammer.
for their books?
You need
you
a
remember,
hammer.
you remember all the kids that were looking for their books their last week because they were sweating. They got the note. You're not walking if you don't turn it
where
in.
my books were.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy. I didn't know where my books were. I didn't.
Now let's say you're $10,000 light on the private school tuition. We need to have the check in hand before we give you the diploma.
I'm your host, BKP. We are at Circuit World in Blue Ridge. Maybe we're having just way too much fun, but we've been discussing what's wrong. And we didn't make light today we didn't make light of 17 kids that are dead, and we want to extend our thoughts, our prayers sincerely to the family and extended family and friends in that community that's going through so much at this tragic time. But when we get done, we don't want the politicians saying what happened. We don't want to hear the politicians come up with the solution. You and I, Jane, Rick, Amanda, Samantha, you and I need to figure out what happened, okay? What is happening to our kids? I'm your host. We're going to come back and talk sports. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a lot of fun. Sorry that we had such a tragic situation, but we did have some good discussion. And, hey, what happened to books? Where are the books? Take us out of here.
Hey,
Let's talk sports.
That's a new topic. What happened too? We could.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds. Come on in to view the area's largest selection of fine jewelry at North Georgia Diamond. All repairs and designs are done on site by our jewelers. And North Georgia Diamond has the lowest prices on loose diamonds. You can also sell your gold, silver, and coins at North Georgia Diamond between Walmart and Lowe's in East Ellijay. Locally owned by Bill and Allison Craig, North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Medium Pizza Hut pizzas, just $5.99 each.
Did they say Pizza Hut?
For $5.99?
Yes, and yes.
Yes! Introducing the deal you want on the pizza you crave. 2 medium pizzas, just $5.99 each. No one out pizzas the hut.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in LJ next to Walmart.
Had the time of my life. I never felt like this before. I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. I'll tell you something. This could be love, because I've had the time of my life. I've never felt like this before, 'cause I've had the time of my life.
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. We're at Circuit World. Circuit World in Blue Ridge. I have not said this today, but let me do my test. Circuit World, LJ, Blue Ridge, Blairsville, Georgia, Murphy, North Carolina, and Franklin, North Carolina. And I was given this note, 6 months, same as cash, $10 down. Anything in the store, first time ever to the end of February, 6 months, same as cash. Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. Here with Jason Banks, North Georgia Team FYN Sports Weekend Review. Jason, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, you got $10 I can borrow? It's a pretty good deal.
I got 2. We'll start. I got 2. You got to round up another 8.
JR to work with us.
So this past week, you have an enormous amount of wrestling information in North Georgia to share with our audience today.
Yeah, I've had GHSA traditional state championship last week. Of course, we had Luther Kinsey went down to Macon. Said it was a packed house. They said it was the biggest crowd that they've ever had for the state tournament, wrestling tournament. In fact, it was so packed it took 2.5 hours to get from the parking lot to the floor to actually cover the event. Security pretty tight there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were hardcore. Even with he's a GHSA official for those that don't know, and he's also our Gilmer County baseball reporter who was helping us out with some wrestling coverage. But I got to talk to Luther quite a bit, back and forth. He shared some video with us. Gilmer Bobcats took 12 wrestlers down there. They had 6 that actually placed, and big performance overall by Gilmer Bobcat Wrestling. Got to mention just a few of the results there, the guys that actually got some medals. And Tristan Kendall took 4th at 126 pounds. Wrestled really well. Ryan Crump, we've been talking about him all year. He's a great wrestler. He's won several tournaments and took 3rd at 182. It's a really tough class. A lot of those guys have a hard time cutting that weight in that class, so he did really well and finished 3rd place. Anthony Zilke also took 3rd place in the 285 or the heavyweight class. And then, of course, sophomore Caleb Waddell, right, he's had an amazing season. We talk about him a lot because he's just such a talented young man. I mean, he's from a wrestling family. His brother wrestles at Oklahoma. Matthew was a really great wrestler for Gilmer. Anybody that knows Gilmer Bobcat wrestling knows the name Waddell. He was 33-2 going into the state championships or state tournament. We knew that he was going to do really well. It was fun all weekend following both sides of the bracket because he had to get through some Jefferson guys to actually get to that state championship match.
And for those out there that keep up with high school wrestling, when you say get through some Jefferson guys, they understand.
Yeah, you got to literally get through them. There's no going around it. And Jefferson wrestling, Gilmer wrestling, similar reputations. Jefferson actually beat Gilmer for the state duels, which is team competition for those that don't know the difference. You know, what's traditional wrestling, what's duels? Duels is primarily team competition. Whereas a traditional wrestling is a survival of the fittest, who's the best of the best. And Waddell, he made it all the way to the championship, and then senior Daniel Reed from Luella High School, before this thing even started, when I was going through and looking at who all was wrestling in that class in the 152s, of course, couldn't overlook Reed because he was 32-1. And now he's 33-1. He actually won a 4-3 decision, a very close match with Caleb Waddell. He finished as a state runner-up for Gilmer Bobcats. Pretty exciting finish to the season. He's actually sport fishing today. So,
well, he's a sophomore.
Nice
let me say this, and I know there's several other schools that we want to highlight.
Yep.
But I do want to take just a minute and talk about the Gilmer Bobcat Wrestling program.
Great.
Okay, because you and I were talking about this the other day. They had a head wrestling coach out there for years, Sam Snyder. Obviously, they have hung the state banners up all around the gym.
Right.
They're known nationally. They're known in the Southeast, very strong in the wrestling community. You know Gilmer. But a new coach, and you always get concerned when the new coach comes in.
Right.
They haven't missed a beat, have they?
No, not at all. I mean, and you've seen, we'll say this, you can see firsthand what it's like for a new coach to come into a program. We see it happen in football all the time, and they have a hard time. But Gobad stepped right into Sam Snyder's sneakers, tied him in double knots, and got on the mats and got to work. And the team, the attitude didn't change. But the attitude of they're there to work, they're champions, they're winners, and nothing was going to stop them this year. I mean, they weren't going to let the fact that they lost one of the greatest coaches in high school wrestling history leave. So Sam Snyder doing a great job over at Chastity. Now excited that he's going to be building a good program over there. And several of our wrestlers that we follow actually wrestle at Chastity, or Chastity goes to some of these duels. So we'll get a chance to see Snyder some more. And he's not absent from the Gilmer program. I mean, he's actually mentored Gobad over there and several of those wrestlers that are wrestling now, and he's still a big supporter of the Gilmer Bobcat Wrestling program.
But it's a program, and it is if you're looking at a program from kids all the way through, that is a program, how you build it. So what are some of the other guys? I don't want to leave out anybody else you wanted to highlight this morning.
Well, we'll talk about Trid over at Union. First wrestler in Union County history to actually place an area. And then he went to sectionals. He was the first wrestler in Union County wrestling history to go to sectionals, and then he advanced to state, took fourth at sectional. And unfortunately, his wrestling days ended pretty quickly at the state championships. You can imagine the weight of the world being on that kid's shoulders, knowing that he was the first ever in that community. And really, hats off to him. Great job. And he's got another year ahead of him, so we'll see how he does next year. And then Fannin, Landon Galloway, wrestled really well. Unfortunately, Bradley Flowers did not have the state tournament that we were hoping he would. You know, he's a personal friend of mine. He's a senior last year. He's in track now, so hopefully he has a good track season. But hats off to Landon Galloway. He did well. And then Pickens County had several wrestlers that did well too. So, and then let's talk about baseball.
Baseball.
Yep.
I'm ready. You're ready.
I know you're done.
Well, I was on online, browsing through some things, and I see the Rebels waving on the bus headed south to Valdosta for this weekend to play baseball down there. So, what do you got?
Well, since we're talking about the Rebels, we'll go ahead and jump there. I mean, yeah, they are headed to Valdosta this weekend. Are you going?
No, I had to back out of that. I know. I was on. I know. I said for weeks. Yeah, I said for weeks I was going.
Pretty exciting trip for them, and they're going to have fun. And then, of course, home opener next week. So we know that you'll be the voice of Fannin County out there.
I will be in the booth if they'll have me back. I'll show up.
I'm sure they will. But not on the bus, right? There was somebody missing. Will Shira, who's wearing his Georgia Tech jersey today. They've got a home opener against Minnesota at 4 o'clock.
Oh, so so Will Shira, Georgia Tech, home opener, Minnesota.
4 o'clock today.
4 o'clock
today. Wish we were going to that one.
I wonder if he will get some playing time. I wonder where that's at.
Never know.
Huh?
Never know.
I'd like to keep up with their pitching rotation to see if he gets some playing time.
Yeah, we'll be following it for sure. Other baseball going on. Mentioned Fannin headed down to Valdosta. Union County hasn't had a chance to play yet. They were hosting Gilmer. They got rained out. That game's been rescheduled for Tuesday. But they're at Commerce today for a doubleheader. They got Raven County the following Saturday. And one thing about Union and Fannin is they are playing in possibly the toughest region in the state. A lot of people don't realize that, but North Hall, who finished third at region last year, actually went on to win state baseball. So you get third in your region and then finish top dog. It's going to be tough, but I'm excited for Union County baseball because they got 7 seniors returning. They do have one athlete. His name is, I'm drawing a blank right now, but he had a torn ACL. Probably didn't want me to advertise him anyway. So having surgery. And so he won't be playing this season. So they have 7 seniors on the team, but one of their better ones, unfortunately, is out. And Gilmer baseball, they won an exhibition at Cass last week. They lost to Lumpkin yesterday, 8-5. Lumpkin just got ahead of them early. The weather's been nuts around here. This rain just.
It's hard to watch February baseball.
Yeah. Every year, right?
Ball doesn't move across the field because the grass is wet, so it dies before it gets to you. I mean, the ground is not hard, so an infielder has no real so February baseball is tough.
I would expect, we weren't there for that one, but I would expect they probably didn't travel very well either. Parents and fans, don't get me wrong, baseball parents are great. They're great fans of their kids, but whenever it's raining out and you're playing baseball on a Thursday, typically they're not going to bust out the umbrella and sit there in it. But they're hosting Lanier tomorrow, and then they'll be at Union for that rescheduled game on Monday. So looking forward to following some Gilmer baseball this year. And Pickens defeated Wheeler 13-11. That was scary because they had an 11-run lead, and Wheeler was coming back in that one. Somehow Wheeler managed to climb all the way back into that. They still lost by 2. Fortunately, the Dragons pulled off the win. And yesterday they had a home opener against Raven County, and you can imagine that game was over in the 4th, 12-2.
12-2. Okay. Basketball. We got a minute and a half. Basketball.
Murphy girls playing tonight. They got Cherokee County playing for the region championship. Should be exciting.
This is region championship night.
That's correct.
Murphy Bulldogs, Lady Bulldogs playing against Cherokee.
Yep, the Bulldogs are done. They're out. They played really well earlier this week, but lost to Cherokee by 5, who beat it by 20 a couple of weeks ago. So, really great fight there, but they were out. So.
We've got a new sports show coming up. Jason has a new sports show that'll be starting. It won't be 10, 15-minute recaps like we have here. It'll be 30-minute show with, tell us a little bit about that show, what it's going to be framed up, how it's going to look, and what the name of it is.
Great. So the name of the show is Instant Replay, which is fitting because basically what we're doing is we're taking all of our 10 counties that we cover, North Georgia and also Murphy, North Carolina sports, and we're recapping what's going on in your area each week. I mean, our team at Team FYN Sports is all over it. When it comes to sports, if it's happening, we're there. So whether it's rec baseball, varsity football, wrestling, basketball, water polo, maybe not water polo.
No, you wanted to see if I was paying attention.
But what we're doing is we're talking to coaches, we're talking to college recruiters, we're talking to athletes, parents, spectators, the works. So you got a 12-year-old kid that's
going to be an exciting. It's going to be an exciting show because we're going to go places that no one has gone. This is not Star Trek. Okay, we're going to go places that no one has gone before in North Georgia in sports.
That's right.
This is going to be new. I mean,
yep.
We're
giving you something that you can't get anywhere else.
Absolutely. I'm your host, BKP. This is Jason Banks, Team FYN Sports. Team FYN Sports, always promoting and highlighting young athletes in a positive way. Don't forget, go to find Team FYN Sports on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Find Team FYN Sports on FetcherNews.com. Go to all the counties, click on Team FYN Sports. Get all the information wrap-up that Jason gives here every day. Look forward. Now, get ready because we're going to blast out this week the new show that's going on, getting ready to happen, so you want to pay attention to that. Also, we'd like for you to join our YouTube channel, FYN TV, Fetcher News YouTube, and then that way, anytime we're live, you will get a notification. Don't forget, we'll close the day with letting you know, 6 months, same as cash at Circuit World here in Blue Ridge. If you have $10 down to the end of February, first time ever, 6 months, same as cash. It's been a great day here at Circuit World Blue Ridge. It's a Good Friday, chili. Fire, ice, chili cook-off, downtown Blue Ridge. Buy your tasting cards at 11. Start tasting 16 different contestants' chili at noon and see 20-some ice sculptures. Also, 3 rock on ice, 3 ice sculptures as the day goes on. Great thing to bring your family up. I don't have anything else. You good?
Good.
I'm good. We're out.